have a conversation about a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and that is retention, right? So we go through this process of onboarding individuals, right? We go through this process of finding prospects and clients, taking them through the three ways, inviting them to the presentation, scheduling the appointment where people acquire the service or on board as associates. But I'm here to tell you that if you don't have a plan for retention, none of it matters. The upfront income is great. It's fantastic, phenomenal. But you'll hear people say it's the business that stays that pays, right? And what are we referring to? We're referring to the residual income, right? Um, but the only way to ensure that you have memberships on the books 2, 5, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, is to be intentional about it. So I'm not going to jump on here and preach tonight. What I'm going to do is ask for some participation. And I'm going to share my thoughts and some of the strategies I employ to keep business on the books, right? But I also want us all to put on our thinking caps and talk about what must we do every time we enroll someone to make sure that we're keeping business on the books. So at some point we can look up one day and have a book of business paying us whether we go to work or not. And also, as we onboard team members and individuals whom we want to work with, make sure they're doing the same thing. So what are the things that we can do that can be duplicated to keep the business on the books, right? So we're not only earning income for the memberships we enroll actively and presently, but once again, we build a book of business that pays us tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on a monthly and yearly basis. So anyone feel free. What are some of the things that we can do or some of the things that you are doing to keep the business on the books?
Making sure that they're actually using the membership and showing them ways that they can use the membership, and then also sharing ways that I use the membership
Okay.
with them.
So I'm going to challenge you to be more specific, right? I want you to be a little bit more specific. Like, what does that look like? What are you actually doing?
Showing them my app and
Okay.
like going in there and like scrolling down to like, hey, I used it. I had a tax question. Hey, I wanted them to check over my property management agreement. I wanted them to look over my leases to make sure that the legalese was correct. I wanted them to look over a claim of interest that I put on a bum's property that didn't want to pay. I wanted them to check the legalese on a lien I put on somebody else's property. Um, I wanted them to look over an insurance policy because I was switching because I felt like they were trying to gouge me to make sure like nothing was missing. And I'll just go through it and show them like all the times that I used it and why I used it and how I used it.
Fantastic. I love it. Okay. That is highly effective. Instead of telling people to use it, actually pulling out the app and demonstrating this is how you do it, right?
Yeah.
This is how you schedule an appointment. This is how you submit a document. This is how you, if you need to call them today, right? You need a phone call within 4 business hours. This is what it looks like, right?
You
You
can
can,
call right now.
right, basically right now, right?
Yeah.
I love it. What are some other things we can do to make sure that when people we spend this time and effort and energy to get the business on the books, we got to keep it on the books, right? What are some other strategies that we've employed? Welcome, Ms. Boykins. I see the eyeballs and teeth in the dark. I know you in your mobile office.
I am. Yes.
Okay. All right. So, what are some other things that we can do? I'm a piggy bank. I said piggy bank. You know, I'm thinking about money.
Thinking about money.
uh, I'm going to piggyback off of Ponce. That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. But we're all thinking about it though. We're all
Yeah.
thinking about the piggy
Hey,
bank.
hey, this ain't a nonprofit endeavor.
It's a for-profit income
Yes.
generating activity.
Yes. So something that I'm not above doing, I did it with somebody who I enrolled recently, is I had them call the law firm. In the middle of the enrollment, I literally was like, we about to call him right now. So we were on Zoom. I was like, because he was telling me about the different things he needed to get done. And I had him literally place a call into the law firm to schedule the appointment. Right? I'm not above doing it when I'm walking people through the app, right? So it's a huge clue. Schedule a follow appointment. You enroll them, you schedule an appointment to make sure they're on board, right? I'm not above having them literally schedule the appointment, like literally pick the topic, put in the description, put in the parties, schedule the appointment. That way I make for certain. Because we know just by having somebody use the membership. So you'll hear people say, well, I had the membership, but I didn't use it, so I dropped it, right? We know statistically, just having someone call and schedule an appointment and getting a phone call from the law firm can increase the likelihood of that person keeping that membership for several years by over 50%. It's bananas when you think about just that simple thing. We'll keep that membership on the books. Who else? What other strategies are we using to keep the business on the books?
I have something that I did recently with somebody that they were having like a catastrophic event with their house. Like they were on the verge of losing their house. But it was like a whole bunch of weird stuff going on with like servicer and this and that. And so like we created a list of things for them to do. And I just made sure that I was checking in with them every day. Like, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you put this in? Did you upload this document? And I really helped them to get on the other side of it and see the benefit of the membership, because they had the membership, let it lapse, and got it again because they were dealing with like a disaster. So I feel like that was like super effective for them because they really were in dire straits, like on the verge of like just totally losing everything. It was that crazy. It was like on a scale from 1 to 10, it was like a 20. And I think that they could really truly see like, wow, the value of it, and they're a business owner too. So I think that was super effective for that person. Like, making that list, and then as they did what they were supposed to do, the objectives, checking it off the list for them.
I love it. I love it. I have something else I want to share, but anyone else?
I think maybe utilizing the member perks and making sure that they know that is something that can also be a benefit to them.
Yes.
Because I feel like a lot of people don't realize that.
No, the member perks is huge. The member perks is huge. I've saved thousands and thousands and thousands. I can't even keep on how much money I've saved because of membership perks over the 17 years I've had this plan. Oh my gosh, there's been some times where I've been on my knuckles and it has come through and allowed me to get some things done that otherwise could not have gotten done. I agree 100%. Walking people through the member perks. Something else that you can do. I tell every single person that enrolls, I tell them how to speak to the attorneys. Because you have to remember, most people have not picked up the phone to talk to an attorney unless it was some BS.com taking place. Most people don't know how to talk to attorneys to get the most out of it. So I tell individuals, if you're going to call a law firm, what I typically will do is I'll have anywhere from 5, maybe depending on the subject, 15 questions written down. Because I know the attorneys are only as good as the questions you ask. If you don't question them, if you don't ask them questions, you're not going to get your money's worth out of it. Put them to work. We're paying these firms upwards of $250,000 to $2 million per month. Put them to work. Right? So I tell individuals, it's kind of like when you're dealing with a doctor is only as good as the questions they ask. If they don't ask the right questions, they're going to misdiagnose you. They're not going to give you the service that you need. It's the same thing with the attorneys. They're not creative because an attorney's job is really not to be a creative. They're not going to do hypotheticals. That's not what they do. Their job is to tell you what the law is, what your options are, what your rights are. And if they're doing an excellent job, give you some perspective on certain moves you should make, right? Whether personally or in business. But at the end of the day, if you don't ask the right questions, if you don't come prepared and unemotional and ask objective questions, you're not going to get your money's worth out of it. You're not. Straight up. Right? When the attorneys say one thing to me, I have no inhibition to saying, are there any other options? Is there another way to look at this? I will ask. Right? I'll ask 5, 6 different directions about everything. I'm going to get all my questions answered because that's what I'm paying for. So that's one way to make sure that your members keep the membership is getting them to understand how to engage and interact. Like, they're not there to listen to your sob story or your narrative. I mean, they're being compensated and they're taking classes to become empathetic. But at the end of the day, that's not what they're really there for, right? They're there to answer your questions. So I make sure that I drill that into the people who enroll. Who else? What else? Things we can do to aid in retention or things that we are doing.
Anybody said this already? Like just doing follow calls.
I'm sorry, Ms. Boykins. I didn't quite hear you. Ms. Boykins, I see the box is green, so I know you're talking, but your signal may be bad.
I had to turn. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Anybody there?
Yep, we're here.
Okay, I might have messed it up. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh,
Can you hear us? All right, Ms. Boykins, we're gonna come back around. We're gonna come back around to you got your audio together when you're sitting still. I know it normally takes you about 10, 15 minutes to get home once this call starts. So, couple other things. My Saturdays are my retention Saturdays. If you're in school or if you are in GroupMe, you will see me oftentimes post how many people I follow up with on Saturdays. I am following up with members who are already on the books, right? So I dedicate my Saturdays to following up with members who are already on the books. And I also dedicate my Saturdays to finding out the members who are in pre-cancel. So I'll go and I'll look at my pre-cancel list and I will call those individuals up, right? Because I'm being intentional about it. I'm boxing the repetitive, right? Is one of the most important things I can do. So I text members, hey, what's up? How you doing? I remember you shared so-and-so goal. You shared that you wanted to accomplish A, B, C, and D. How's that going? I text individuals all the time, hey, did you get that estate plan done? I text people all the time, hey, did you get that operating agreement done? Right? Even if I can't reach you over the phone, right? I'll call first. I'm going to call first and I send a text. I do that on Saturdays. Something else that I do is I'm very transparent and honest, right? I don't fib to people about the tools that I use. Yes, we have Prospect by Legal Shield, but I have MailChimp. And every member that I put my hands on, so that includes not only my members, but sometimes we have associates that go, incognito. We have associates that will enroll people, and I find out they're not following up with the members to make sure they utilize the service. Guess where they go? They go into my MailChimp, where I have a category dedicated to members. And I send out an email probably once every 2 weeks with a message that's just dedicated towards these are the ways in which you can use your membership. So I'll send out information about how you can utilize the membership to fight identity theft or to clean up your credit report, or I'll send an email with suggestions in terms of how you can utilize the plan if an insurance company is giving you a raw deal and not you dot the I's, you cross the T's, they're giving you a raw deal. And I know corporate's doing it. But at the end of the day, whose business is it? Right? It's your book of business. So I'm not going to rely on corporate to do those things for me. I'm going to make sure that my members that I've worked to enroll get some TLC. So that's something else that I'll do periodically as well. Right? I'll invite them to, I'll send information to them via MailChimp. MailChimp is $20. One member, if you build a book of business of 1,000 members, whether it takes you a year, if it takes you 5 years, if it takes you 10 years, you get 1,000 members on the books. If the retention is approximately 70%, you can expect that book of business to pay you $80,000 a year moving forward. So you build that book of business of 1,000 members, 70%. You're going to look up and be paid $80,000. I think that's worth paying $20 a month for.
I concur.
I just, it's worth setting aside an hour every 2 weeks and $20 a month to make sure that you're assuming that's all you're using MailChimp for or any other contact manager. It's worth it. Right? I cannot tell you how many times. Actually, the member I enrolled today, she had the membership several plus years ago. I mean, it was a while back ago. And she told me that she wanted to get the membership because she was in a different place in her life, understood the value of it, wanted to use it to build her business, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And she told me how she found me was because I was sending those emails year in, year out. That's how she used it. Right? What's something else you can do to make sure that people utilize the service? So, we have a new website, the Team New Horizons official website. One of those pages is a service site. It says services. I have 6 people that I'm going to send an email to between now and tomorrow morning, thanking them for being a member. And I'm going to send that Team New Horizons site to them for them to review, because when they go to the site, not only are they going to get an overview of the services, they're going to get an interview idea with an attorney. Well, we went A through Z. I mean, we literally went A through Z, the million different ways an attorney can be useful for a person that's a business owner. And then you have, I think, the 101 reasons to utilize the service personally and also for your business. There's the 50 reasons that you should have our identity theft plan and literally how to use the identity theft plan. I'm sending people that site. Right? That's something that I'm doing. I had a couple more ideas, but I want to hear from other people. What are some other ways, other things you do to ensure that you keep good retention?
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now, Ms. Boykins.
Hey, I invested in some new headphones. I forgot. I had them in the car. Sorry, y'all. I was trying to say, like, for me, I've been doing a lot of follow-up and just kind of asking how they like the service or seeing have they used it at all, and just trying to encourage them to use it. And like Mr. Jordan was saying, like reminding them of those membership perks. And I just think really it's just maybe a matter of their timing or learning how to get to it. So what I've been finding myself doing is, as I'm getting the member perks emails, I've been screenshotting them and sending them to people, and then
I
sending the
love it.
membership link and sending the link. So like, oh, look what's on sale, like stuff like that. Like people where I know they shop at certain places. Like, did you look at that app and check? So I think it's just a matter of people learning that like the discounts are real and utilizing them and spending time, especially those who are like couponers,
Yep.
trying to remind them to use that stuff.
I love it. I love it. Who else? What are different things you can do to make sure that your members are using the service? This is your financial independence. This is your pension, right? What can you do to ensure that pension? I'll tell you something else I'm getting ready to do that I used to do. Is shame on me. I used to do this early on in my career. It's something I started doing as an investment advisor. I am going to start doing appreciation events. I think I'm gonna do them like once every 3 months. I'm gonna choose a day, and everybody who's a member, I'm gonna invite them out. And it's gonna be the whole little cheese and crackers, the mid-shelf wine. I may invite someone that knows how to cook, or I might invite someone that's a chef connoisseur, or I might invite someone that has some skill or something that I think people will find interesting. And I'm going to schedule it for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it's just going to be an appreciation event. Anyone who's been a member, I'm going to invite them out to say, hey, I appreciate the fact that you chose to do business with me. And I used to do it all the time back. I used to get so many clients from doing that. And I stopped. Well, in 2026, I'm getting back to that.
Where would you have the venues at?
I would have, well, back in the day, I would have it at my office,
Okay.
right? Because I'm still trying to keep the expense low.
Yeah.
But I'm also I'm doing some extra to let people know I appreciate them, because I know that's not happening. Like, people's insurance agents are not doing that for them.
Right.
Right. I know if I was selling high-end cars, please, I'd be doing it probably every month. If I'm a real estate agent and I actually have traction, like I'm moving multiple houses per month, yeah. If you done business with me, come on out. Right? I'm earning 4 and 5 figures from a transaction that we had. Yeah, come on out. Right? And that's what I'm doing. If I find someone with a special skill set that I think people, you want to learn how to paint? Let's do paint pour. Right? Those are some of the things I'm going to be doing. And just like everything else I do, I don't hide it. Not from our organization. If you're checking your newsletter, you'll see when I put on certain types of events, I make sure everybody knows about it. Right? So that's something I'm going to begin doing to generate more interest and grow my business. Who else? Other things you can do.
I was just sitting thinking before you had said that, I was thinking maybe sending digital thank you cards maybe once a month just for being a value customer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This upcoming Thursday, all of my group clients, the HR decision makers that help me get into these groups, I'm going to go on Amazon and I'm going to find something that's cute, different, unique, whether it's a pad with the name of the business on there. I'm going to find something and I'm going to send it to them just to say thank you. Me being me is probably going to be a pen. There's going to be a pad. It might be a mouse pad or something like that. It's something that I know that they have to pick up every something I know that they're gonna have to pick up every single day and use. And when they see it, they see my name and they see the name of the business, right? I used to send calendars, and people don't use calendars anymore. They throw them out. Everybody's utilizing their phones. But I'm gonna find something online that's inexpensive that I can send them just to say thank you. Right? That's a reminder. If you're running on ideals, there's a book out there by Bob Bird called Endless Referrals. I talk about this book all the time. That book has so many ideals in it about how to acquire referrals and build these type of relationships with your clients. Right? Something that I'm also beginning to do. I already do this, but I'm being even more intentional, particularly with my clients that are business owners. If I find out my client has a need, I try to connect them with someone who can meet the need. So one of my clients has a seed oil business. Actually, no, it's an alternative to seed oils that he's been able to get companies to use in their potato chips and other stuff. A couple of months ago, he told me he needed an operator, like an administrative assistant, to help him with his business. So guess what I did? A month later, I was online via social media and I was interacting with people and developed a relationship with a lady who's a fractional COO. And the moment I found that out, the moment I talked to her to find out, make sure she wasn't crazy, to make sure she wouldn't, that she didn't have issues, I immediately referred her to him. And he did hire her and take her through the process for a period of time before he decided to go a different direction. But it was not lost on me that he did text me, thank you for the referral. Right? Little things like that. A lot of the contractors that I work with, they're constantly complaining about people who don't have a good work ethic, who aren't willing to come to work, who aren't willing to do what they need to do. I spoke with a gentleman today. He's struggling. He's trying to do it by himself. He doesn't have business acumen. He just knows how to do the work. So people are not paying him right. People are messing him over. People are taking advantage of him. But, I could tell he's getting up and doing the work. He's motivated. He has kids. He's showing up for these jobs. I'm going to immediately contact some of the contractors that I know, and I'm going to introduce them to him. Right? Solve a problem. Solve a problem. So if you're taking on clients that are business owners, that's something you can do. Solve their problem. Someone else told me they need to find a manufacturer for their beautification products. So you know what I did? About an hour or two later, I went on ChatGPT and I spent 15 minutes looking for manufacturers. We obviously don't offer manufacturing. I don't offer manufacturing. There's not too many people in my circle that manufactures products. But I knew I was better at research than she was. I knew I was better at vetting things out than she was. So I spent 15 minutes looking for manufacturers. And I'm probably going to spend another 15 minutes tomorrow vetting them out to make sure they're not shady and don't have a reputation for stealing people's intellectual property and all other fun stuff. And once I find that out, I'm going to shoot out an email and say, hey, take a look at this. Right? Now, some people will say, well, why would you do all of that? The person enrolls, you're earning $400 or $500. That's a lot of work. I'm not thinking about the $400 or $500 up front. I'm thinking about the $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 that one membership's going to pay me over the next several years. That's what I'm thinking about. You smelling what I'm cooking here? All right. It's 8:44, so we're going to wrap this up. Any additional recommendations, any ideals, things you can do to create a situation where your members stay on the books? Okay. Since we have two individuals who are in the financial services and insurance industry, in the real estate industry, the one thing I know all of our clients have in common is they need what? They're all looking for money.
Yeah.
Can we be in agreement with that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
so Mr. Jordan Taraji, your prospective member introduced you to who? Or gave you the contact information to who when we were together?
Oh, that banker from Troy?
The banker. So you know what I would be doing? Instead of going to that banker and saying, who can you introduce me to with your handout, saying, I need some clients, introduce me to some people, I got a great service. Instead, I will flip the script. I will say, hey, are you comfortable talking about lending practices for people who want to invest in real estate? Are you comfortable talking about lending practices for people who want to start up businesses? Are you comfortable talking about lending practices for people who want to buy a business and don't know how? Are you comfortable having conversations with people about the difference between a simple or a SEP IRA, a Roth or a traditional IRA? Are you comfortable having questions with people talking about solo 401k? Are you comfortable? And if she says yes to any of those things, guess what I might be inclined to do? Schedule a Zoom, schedule a luncheon, and put the word out to everybody I know. Hey, I found somebody that is willing to talk about A, B, C, and D subjects. No cost. Come on out. Bring a friend. The banker isn't going to charge you to do that because they're happy that you're doing what?
Referring them to somebody.
Putting people in front of them. And some banks, some chambers, some organizations will actually cover the cost because they have it in the budget. So you're not spending any of your money or any of your time to get these people in front of this information, are you?
No.
No. And you're bringing value to the people in your network. And then because you're the one that's co-hosting it, guess what you get to talk about for like 5 minutes? You don't want to turn it into a presentation, but you can get up and speak for 5 minutes. Hey, everybody, thanks for coming out. Just FYI, as the co-host of this event, this is how we pay the bills here, right? This is what I do. Quick 5-minute infomercial and then shut it down. That's what we do at the luncheons, right? We give people a chance to talk, exchange information, talk about their favorite topic, which is their businesses. We only talk about the service for like 5 minutes. I give a 5-minute presentation. And we've built entire teams from the luncheon doing that. Why not? Hopefully you're smelling what I'm cooking here.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Ms. Boykins, I see your hand up. What's up? Or maybe you did it by mistake. I don't know. Ms. Boykins, you there? You make it home safely?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh Lord, it was the popos. I was trying to slow it down. Yeah. Was a quick question if I can ask.
Sure.
Because you mentioned about the banking and stuff. I've got an upcoming invite. It's like kind of like a luncheon in about a week from now. And I guess the way it's explained to me is it's some big wigs that got a whole bunch of money. And so it's kind of more like a meet and greet and kind of like a mingle where I'm on the phone, where everybody's kind of explaining what it is they do or just kind of mingling.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to know what should be my approach, or should I just go in, hear the need of the people, or just hear what kind of money they got to throw around, and then kind of go from there. Like, how do I approach that?
So that's a different subject. Let's have the chat after we wrap up this call.
Okay, that's why I said I didn't know if it was like
It's all good.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Anybody else before we wrap up? We're already like 20 minutes over. Any other ideals?
This is very good content. I took a lot of notes.
I love the appreciation event idea too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, fantastic. Well, look, Ponce started the call with this. Be aware, we have 2 events that are taking place this week. We have the luncheon downtown Detroit, 1 p.m. at Sinbad's restaurant. We have the business solutions briefing is taking place downtown at Space Lab Detroit at 6 p.m. Be aware that starting in March, we may end up changing location to Incavizo, which is another workplace for business owners out in Ferndale. The primary reason why we're doing it is, quite frankly, parking, making it more convenient. We'll still use Space Lab periodically for some of the larger events because I think it's more suitable for certain types of events. But be aware that in the month of March, the Wednesday, first and third Wednesdays, business solutions briefing will be taking place at Incavizo. So be aware of that. All right. With that being said, let's crush it. Congratulations to everyone for showing up tonight. Get in contact with your partners and tell them you missed it. This was solid. You should have been here. You missed out on thousands of dollars worth of game. Shame on you. All right. Everyone have a fantastic evening. And Ms. Boykins, I'll give you a call in about 2 minutes.
All right.
Good night.
Thank you. You guys have a
Thank
good
you,
night.
you guys.
All right. Everyone have a good night.